Expressed her frustration to the LA Times yesterday, saying, "I'm growing impatient because we had the fourth highest payroll in the league. When you spend that kind of money, you expect to go deep into the playoffs. I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied." Magic Johnson then tweeting this: "My sister and Lakers owner Jeannie Buss was sincere, honest, and direct with her feelings about last season in a new LA Times article. She wants and expects things to change for the Lakers next season, and Jeannie is the sole decision maker for the Lakers organization." Okay, former Laker.
I love Jeannie, and I think she's 100% right. But it has, I say this to Steven too, when people mention money, money does not make you superhuman. Okay, so they had a human squad. The situation, they had one basketball, and they didn't have enough of the guys who do the dirty work. They had all stars. And that was figuring out who does what. And when you're a role player, you got to figure out where to sit back, when to sacrifice yourself. They had too many stars on the squad that didn't understand how to play together. They did this in 2006 or 2004, and they lost to the Pistons with all those superstars on the squad. I think Westbrook, I think all these guys should not read the paper and not watch sports radio. Or listen to sports radio or watch sports radio. Let me tell you why they shouldn't. They're talking about you. You don't need to hear them tell you what you've already done. Winning, Chuck Daly used to say, winning covers a multitude of sins. All you got to do is win.
Let me say, well, first of all, you're wrong.
I'm 100% right.
I'm getting ready. I'm going to educate you by reminding you on stuff. First of all, let's understand that we're talking about the Lakers organization. The Lakers organization has missed the playoffs 7 times in the last 9 years. Only twice in the last 10 years have they been out of the first round. And one of those years was when they won the title in the bubble.
Every 10 years, the Lakers win a championship.
Let me explain. You ain't got to express nothing but love for Jeannie Buss. I love me some Jeannie Buss. Everybody that knows, but everybody that's associated with the NBA loves Jeannie Buss.
Right.
Okay. We question who she listens to and who she has her faith in, but I think that, and I've come around.
What do you mean by that,
Well, let me explain. I've come around on this. I brought up Linda Rambis in the past. I brought up Kurt Rambis. I brought up all of these people. I'm going to stand down on that. I'm not going to bring that up anymore.
Okay.
Because I need to be fair to them, too. And here's what I mean by that. Jeannie Buss is going to make the final decision. She says that's the case. She says Rob Pelinka is going to be in control of basketball operations. She's made that clear. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then anybody who has an inner circle, what's the number one thing that you have to have? You have to have trust.
Right.
And so the people that she trusts, because if you Jeannie Buss, when you've had to deal with what she's had to deal with her own family, with her brother, for crying out loud, and all the nonsense she had to go through before she got control of the organization. Let's understand and appreciate the fact that that's piggybacking off the late, great Dr. Buss. Okay, and so what you have is a situation where there's a standard that he established. And if you're Jeannie Buss, you want to do this, but you got to surround yourself with people that you can trust, because everybody wants a piece of the action. And if she has her own inner circle that she trusts, I'm good with that. I'm going to stand down on that. But I will say this to you. When you talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and you talk about players not paying attention, I think that's the last thing that you can say to them. You know why? You need to pay attention, because you need to understand what the standard is here. We have a guy, listen.
All you got to do is look up in the rafters and see what the standard is.
Time out. I respect the hell out of Russell Westbrook. I think the brother is real and authentic. I don't think he has a phony bone in his body. Do I agree with his judgment sometimes? No. Do I think that, sometimes that he embraces this attitude that he's the victim too much? Yes. But I will say this. He's high character. And I'm not throwing any shade on him. But this man was sitting on a podium in the media room addressing the media and said, I had no expectations when I arrived here. How can you play for the Los Angeles Lakers and be quoted as saying you have no expectations? LeBron doesn't need to listen to the media because he knows about the expectations and he accepts it. Anthony Davis, are you that dude that fully, I know because it's only injuries. If it wasn't for injuries, Anthony Davis would be a star in this league. We know what he is when he's healthy. But Anthony Davis, do you accept the fact that life is different now in LA compared to what it was in New Orleans? And there is a standard. Russell Westbrook, do you accept the fact now that there is a standard that has been established? You don't wear the purple and gold and represent Jeannie Buss, Dr. Buss, and the Los Angeles Lakers, and you don't have expectations. You cannot do that.
I still can't get a word in, Molly. This is the deal. Let me just say why they shouldn't. There was a guy,
consistent.
one of my favorite coaches growing up was named Barney Davis. And I was sitting and I would open up the Daily News to see what they said about me. He goes, "You've already done it. Stop reading the paper." And I stopped reading the paper until I started reading Philadelphia, and I saw you use really good words. And so I liked what you wrote about. But
You used to read me all the time.
I did. And what didn't I say that all the time? I would read and I would say, "Yo, I like you. I like what you do." The crazy thing is when they sit back and they watch it, and now they're influenced. You don't. All you got to do is have a conversation with your teammates. I remember when Joe Dumas told me, "Sal, I can't pass your ball. I need block shots and rebounds." And I thought I was going to be a scorer. They didn't need that. They needed this to win. They need that to win. And if they had that conversation with each other, they would win. And the deal is when you're playing in the purple and gold, you feel it. It's almost like being a Yankee, right? It's almost like being a Dodger.
Right.
You know what you got when you get there.
Here's my problem with what you're saying. Because, no, you were not Rodman, but you were one of those dudes just like the rest of them that fed off that energy. The support that you got on your home turf, the vitriol you got on the road.
Right.
It fueled you.
Right.
And to me, you're not taking that in consideration when you're talking about these guys and what they should ignore. Whatever it takes to fuel you, because let me tell you something. If just talking to your teammates, that'll help you do your job.
Right.
That'll help you do your job. But that extra oomph,
Yeah.
you get from supporters or haters.
But I'm also
and you got to pay attention to all of that.
I'm also from Brooklyn. So I would also know, my father said, the name on your back is yours, but it's really mine. So I had a different idea of, I was the only Sally, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been a bunch of Johnsons, right? But there was only one Sally. And my brothers were like, "Hey, you represent not just you, you represent everything, and you represent this thing." So I had this basketball playing mentality that the things that you don't see, I would always want to do.
And you still paid attention to the supporters and the ones that threw you venom.
Yeah.
See, that's the point.
But what I did is, the one who threw me venom, as I got older, I look back and I go, "You made me play better."
Right.
You made
Exactly.
me, but don't
pay attention.
But don't sit around. I watch these guys get inside of the room when the press room and be like, "Man, I didn't do that."
That's
Rabbit ears, yeah.
yeah,
right.
I'm not doing
That's
that.
because they worried
Well,
about
you're
their brand.
representing your family again.
I am.
On Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus, Sneakerella
your acting skills
is
Friday.
have gotten better
Yeah, Friday.
every day. Yes.
Okay. We have a sneak peek here. I'd like to share that with
I
everybody.
got to see this. I'm judging.
Obviously.
Talent, passion, experience. That's what we do.